All right, so it is the final day of doing a cell assay. So this is our 96 well plate that we set up yesterday, and this has been sitting in the incubator overnight. So what we're going to do with this today is we are first going to get rid of the media. So I'm going to come over here to the sink, and I'm just going to give it a nice good flick to get rid of all of that media. And then because that has cell material in it, we'll just put some bleach on top of it to kill everything. So now you can notice that the lights in the lab are very low, and that's because of this. This is D-luciferin. And what we've done, these cells express firefly luciferase, and so when we add the luciferin, this is the reporter for our assay because we're measuring luminescence. So we're going to take the luciferin, we're going to add it to 11 mils of PBS. And you can notice when I do this, oh, and the lights are low because D-luciferin is light sensitive, so we want to keep the lights low for this part. So now that I've added that, you can notice a slight yellow tint now that I've added the luciferin into the PBS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it into here so that I can pipette it into the plate. Alright, so I just paused actually because the solution that I was looking at was not turning yellow like it always does. And so we're witnessing mistakes and learning in real time. This one was the one that I just did, and this is one that I paused, went and grabbed another D-luciferin and added. I don't know if you can tell over the camera, but this one actually did turn yellow. I realized with this one, I grabbed the wrong PBS. So, moving forward, this is why if you think something's not right, always pause and double check. Because I felt like it wasn't right, didn't turn yellow, and it wasn't right. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're now going to take this properly yellow D-luciferin in PBS. We're going to take 90 microliters of it, using this multi-channel pipette. And I'm going to put 90 microliters of the D-luciferin into each well of our cell plate. Notice all the yells the walls are a little bit yellow now. And so now, again, because D-luciferin is light sensitive, we are going to cover this. And we are going to let this incubate at room temperature for 20 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer, 20 minutes. So while that sits off to the side, we are going to prepare our agonist that we're going to test. So I have one of these plastic 96 well plates here. This is not a well plate to do an assay in, this is just for prepping assays. So here I have all of the agonists that I'd like to try out. This is going to be a GLP-1 receptor assay, so I have my native GLP-1 here just as a control, and then a couple of different trials that I'm going to do. And then our vehicle is just DMSO. So inside of each of these is just 1 milliliter of our PBS. And I'm just realizing that I might have also used the wrong PBS for this one. So we are going to redo the 1 mil of PBS that is sitting in here. So we have vehicle, GLP-1, A1, B1, and B2. Gonna get rid of these. I had doubles of each because I was doing 2 wells, but we'll just do it as we go. All right, so I want 1 mil of PBS in each of these. correct PBS. All right, so now we are going to add 1 microliter of each of our agonists into each of these. So the vehicle, that one is going to be just DMSO, so this doesn't have any agonist in it. Oh, didn't get any. There we go. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but you can see the DMSO mixing with the PBS. You should be able to see it going in there. All right, close this, close that, and give it a mix on my very loud mixy thing there. Label this vehicle. All right, so then we get to our agonist solutions. So this is our native GLP-1, as I said, and all of these are in 1 micromolar solutions. We have 1 microliter going in. Mix. And label. Oh, she's dead. All right, I'll take these, I'll just mix them like this. This is A1. I have each of these labeled, so they correspond to notebook numbers. Nope. All right. Just give it a little shaky shake. This one is B1. This one is still a little bit frozen. Is B2. Right. Yeah, B2 is still a little bit frozen here. I think I'm just gonna shake this up and redo B2 just to make extra sure that this is homogeneous when I put it in. Because sometimes you can get settling. All of your peptide can settle at the bottom. So I should have shaken it before I did that. So I'm just gonna redo it real quick. Get rid of that. B2, take 2. It up, B2. All right, so for preparing this plate to go in here, what we're going to do is we are going to take 100 microliters of each of our solutions, and we are going to put it into the top well of each of these. Into wells 1 and 2, we are putting vehicle, and I'm also going to put that into 11 and 12. I like to do the vehicle on all of the outer points of the plate because sometimes the cell growth can get a little bit funky on the outer edges. So then our GLP-1 native agonist is going into wells 3 and 4. A1 is going into 5 and 6. B1 into 7 and 8. And then B2 is going to go into 9 and 10. All right, so then for all of the rest of these wells, we are going to take our multi-channel pipette, and I'm just going to fill this reservoir with our PBS. Oh, that's the luciferin reservoir. Make sure you get a new reservoir. Fill it with PBS. Great. So I'm going to take the multi-channel pipette, and I'm going to put 100 microliters of PBS. Actually, I'm going to take 200. Sorry, just double checking my notes. 200 microliters of PBS into all of the other wells. Ooh. Alright, so that well, we're going to redo that because those are falling off a bit. Make sure you press down nice and tight. I'm going to redo that addition because the last two were uneven. Right. So then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new box of pipette tips. I'm going to take 50 microliters. So I'm going to switch over here. $50 microliters, and starting at the top, I'm going to take 50 microliters, put it down into well B, mix. I'm going to take 50 microliters here, move it down, mix, and so on and so forth. So what we're doing is we're making serial dilutions of our peptide stock at the top all the way down the plate. And pipette up and down a few times just to mix. From B. And change pipette tips in between. So now we're on C to D. D to E. I just sort of say this out loud to myself to remind myself what row I'm on. E to F. G. And finally G to H. And you should also be able to keep track because the pipette box also holds 96 tips, and so because we were doing serial dilutions, there should be one row left. All right, so now the plate is ready to go. I'm going to change over the pipetter to be on 10 microliters. And we are going to go set up the plate reader computer. So here's the computer. We want to make sure everything is set up and ready so that when we put the agonist into the plate, it's ready to go and it can just come right in here. So I'm going to click the in button and we are going to call this plate Exosite Assay 2154. So I like to title this what project the assay I'm doing, and then this cAMP 2154 is the notebook number of all the agonists that I'm testing out. So that's A1, B1, and B2. And then down here in the comments, I get a little bit more specific. So I say vehicle is in 1 and 2. GLP-1 is in 3 and 4. We have 2154A1 is in 5 and 6. It's in 6 and 7. B1 is in 6 and 7. And then B2 is in 5, 6, 6, that should be 7 and 8. And then B2 is in 9 and 10, and we have vehicle again in 11 and 12. So this is just so I can come here and I can look at this and I can know exactly, I have written down in my notebook what each of these are, but I just like to have it in the comments so that I can come here, look at the assay, and know what was in everything. So I'm going to copy the plate ID, then I'm going to hit read, and it takes me over here. So I'm going to pick my folder, and I'm going to title it today's date, which is, I do it year, month, and today is the 20th, and then that title of the plate that I copied. Oop. I need to get rid of the colon. Alright, so after I hit read, this is going to open, and after this opens, once I'm ready to actually read, I'll hit OK. And so, yeah, so now we'll wait the extra 5 minutes for the deluciferin to be done, and we'll finish up. Alright, so our 20-minute timer has just gone off. So I'm going to take 10 microliters from here and pipette it into here. Remember, we put in 90 microliters at the start, so this will give us a total volume of 100 microliters. And that's pretty much it for this assay. We put the agonist in and then take it over to the plate reader and we read it. And we measure the luminescence because we have the Firefly luciferin, and that should tell us how much activation we are getting. So I'm going to take this over to the plate reader and hit read.